and really not even shout out to me, but shout out to y'all. This is the very first episode of the podcast that comes in the off season. And it's the official off season because the Super Bowl was this past Sunday. And first, before we jump into this, what we want to start doing, consistency, because I always talk about consistency, and y'all know the podcast has been sort of all over the place as far as consistency. We've been getting them out pretty much every week, but it's been on different days throughout the week. Sometimes it may come on a Monday, sometimes on a Wednesday, sometimes on a Friday, sometimes on a Saturday. It comes at different times. So what we are going to do from this point moving forward, let's do it to where we shoot every Wednesday, because I want you guys to have a clear expectation of exactly when the podcast is going to drop. I want you guys to have a clear expectation and when you can expect it. So you don't have to be wondering like, oh man, is it going to come out today? Is it going to be this day? Is it going to be this day? When is it going to come? So that's what we're shooting for. We're shooting for every Wednesday. So thank you, because we got to get better and more organized when it comes to this entire podcast. But anyway, let's that's Super Bowl. Ooh, that's Super Bowl. Ooh, that's Super Bowl. Whoa. Oh, that thing was a big, enormous, gigantus yikes. It was a big yikes. What was it, 31-9? Yeah, 31-9. Patrick Mahomes just got beat up all day. And he definitely, 26 for 49, so he threw almost 50 passes. And I always talk about, I say, man, if you're throwing 50, if you're throwing 60 passes, 9 times out of 10, you probably lost. Especially if you threw that many passes, like that many. Yeah, you probably lost. 2 interceptions. He just had all them drops too. Couldn't get no blocking, but hey, Patrick Mahomes, yeah. I know so many Ravens fans were loving this. They were loving it. Now, I didn't expect it. I thought it was gonna be a close game. I expected the Chiefs to win, but I should have really thought about that. I should have said Tom Brady Super Bowl, and then he ain't going against the Giants. I don't know about all that. He not going against the NFC East. Maybe I should rethink this one through. But yeah, he was pretty much perfect. I think he threw 3 touchdowns, 2 to Rob Gronkowski, 1 to Antonio Brown. So look at that. These dudes that were pretty much out of football last year, they come back this year to their teams, and hey, they catch touchdowns in the Super Bowl, all the way to the Super Bowl. How about that, man? How about that? And that's one that I'm not that I'm not over it, because the season is done with and whatever, but I would have been down if the Ravens would have signed AB with so many people in the car. Oh, he'll be a distraction. He'll be this. He'll be that. Ingraven, no, it's not a good idea. No. Hadn't heard a peep out of AB this entire season. But anyway, it's all good. But yeah, now he's a Super Bowl champion. And somebody made a very good point. They said, well, now that AV actually got a Super Bowl added to his statistics, should he be a Hall of Famer? I said, oh, wow, what a great question. But I don't see the NFL, they're not going to put AB in the Hall of Fame. They're not. He got too much off-the-field stuff that happened for them to put him in the Hall of Fame. And with the Hall of Fame, it's tricky, and that's why I love the I Am Athlete podcast, because I love how they really talk about it, especially when they be talking about Hall of Fame, because it's supposed to be for your on-field, what you did on the field. That's what the Hall of Fame is supposed to be for, but it's not. It's not. Because, again, you got guys like T.O., he should have been first ballot. You already know, man. T.O. should have been in that thing. But because of the off-the-field stuff, and he didn't even get in trouble off the field, but just because of what people call antics and whatnot, people called him a distraction. Because of all that stuff, they were like, I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that for you in the Hall of Fame. So that's what that was, man. So with AB, I do not ever see him excuse me, I don't ever see him being put in the Hall of Fame. He could have the best numbers, but if you not one of the NFL favorites, you ain't gonna be there. You're not gonna be there. So anyway, he got a Super Bowl, so I'm sure Hall of Fame would be nice. Like if I was a football player, straight up, man. And I've said this before years ago. If I was a football player and I had to choose like which one I would have rathered between Hall of Fame and Super Bowl, I'm choosing Super Bowl. Hall of Fame is a very, very nice accomplishment because that lets people know, like, hey, at your position, you actually recognized for it because, but anyway, at your position, you were one of the best for a long period of time. You were one of the best in the league at your position for a long period of time. And you really you broke some records. You made a lot of noise in a good way. Hey, you're a Hall of Famer. How about that? I don't like the whole the statue thing. That's always like been kind of weird to me. I don't like people making statues of other people and them making the busts with the people's faces, heads on. I think that's really like weird. But anyway, would you rather that or hey, you a Super Bowl champion? Oh, I would take that Super Bowl over that all day, every day. Because again, Super Bowl, that means that your team lasted the longest. Your team made it. Your team is at top of the mountain for that year, and nobody can ever take that away from you. Like for Hall of Famer, for the Hall of Famers, you can say for instance, there's a group of guys that make the Hall of Fame in 2016. Just using this year as an example, I could have used 2020 or 2021, but anyway, say for instance, a group of Hall of Famers, they make the Hall of Fame in 2016. It's like, oh, you were on the list, but you didn't make it to the Hall of Fame. You were on the Hall of Fame ballot, but you didn't make it to the Hall of Fame. It's like, okay, cool. But then 2017 comes, and you're still on the list, but you still ain't make it in. It's like, okay, well, maybe next year. So then 2018 comes, and you made it. You made it into the Hall of Fame. So on your third year being eligible, you finally made it. It's like, okay, yeah, I did it. But for the Super Bowl, like, it ain't no, when you win a Super Bowl, that's it. For that year, like, your team was on top. Your team, they may not have even been the best team in the league. But guess what? They ain't got to be. If they won a Super Bowl, it's all that matters. It's all that matters. And that can never, nobody can do anything about that. Your eligibility doesn't change from year to year. Yeah, your team can win another one, but so can 31 other teams. But that's it. It's like Super Bowl, I feel like that's the biggest accomplishment that you can have in the NFL. Again, Hall of Fame is really nice too. But Super Bowl, I feel like that's like, okay. That's a real deal. Because it takes a group effort and it's a team. Your team has to get there. Your team has to make it. Your team has to, all y'all got to come together that year and be like, okay, let's do it. Well, okay, we did it because y'all are Super Bowl champs. Y'all are Super Bowl champs. And that's more to me, man. That's more to me. But anyway, the Super Bowl, it was it's weird because with the Super Bowl, I wasn't really excited for it leading up to it. I was like, okay, Chiefs, Bucks, cool, whatever. And me and my wife and Carter on Sunday afternoon, we went up the road probably about an hour and a half away. Go see some family, like one of my very close, pretty much family. But one of my very, 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 very close friends that I grew up with, he moved from South Florida about an hour and a half north, and he started up his own little restaurant, little cooking company or whatnot, little food business. He started it up, and me and my wife, we had his cooking before, and it was really, really good. But we had it way before he started up the business. So he was like, oh, you know what, let's go check him out. We've been meaning to go up there for the longest, but we're like, hey, okay, Super Bowl, we'll do it. Because they were doing something special. they were doing a special for their food, and I was like, yeah, let's go up there, support them, show some love, and I get to see one of my friends that I ain't seen in a little minute, in a couple years. So we did that. We went up there, saw the food, so good. And I had never had fried ribs. Oh my gosh, this dude, he made fried ribs. Fried ribs, fried ribs. They were so good too. They were so good. I was like, man, I never even thought of that before. But fried ribs, man, it was so good. But anyway, we went up there, and then we when we were on the way back down, it was probably like we probably left around like 5:30. Yeah, about 5:30. So Super Bowl was supposed to start at 6:30. So maybe we left at 5:45. Maybe it was later. But when we were coming back down, we had stopped at a rest stop just to go use the bathroom real quick. And when use the bathroom, came out, and they were showing the Super Bowl on the TV. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I knew it started at 6:30. So this was obviously after 6:30. It was about like 6:40, I think. Maybe 6:35, 6:40, somewhere around then. And I was thinking, okay, I knew the Super Bowl was starting at 6:30, but I didn't think it was starting like right at 6:30. I thought that 6:30 was the start of the show. Because Super Bowl is not just a football game. It's a show. It's an entire show. So when I saw the game actually being played, I was like, whoa, okay, hold up now. And that kicked my excitement up a little bit. So I was like, oh, wait, I do want to see this now. I do want to see it. So, yeah, then I listened to it while we were driving. I listened to it a little bit on the phone, but I was like, no, I ain't going to do this. Because if a big play happens, I don't even want the temptation looking down at the phone while I'm driving. I said no. So I just let Carter use the phone because his Nintendo Switch had died. So he just used my phone on the rest of the way back. And again, we weren't far from home. But anyway, we got home, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Even with it being a blowout, I did enjoy it. Halftime show, that was just, that's stuff that they were doing on a halftime show. It just looked freaky, man. It was very scary looking, man. Was not feeling a halftime show at all. But I'm haven't been big on halftime shows in maybe ever. Last year I thought the halftime show was disgusting too. And it just I feel like it's just a lot of symbolism in there. But anyway, the game was a good game. Well, it wasn't a good game. It was a good game for the Bucks. So they pretty much beat up on them Chiefs. But it was just weird seeing the Chiefs offense just come to a halt. The brakes were pumped all the way. They even put on the handbrake and all. That's how bad Chiefs offense was. Nothing was going on. Nothing was going down. Tyreek Hill, you wouldn't have even known that he played in the game. And I forgot that, let me see how much yards he had. Tyreek Hill had 7 catches? Oh, I couldn't tell. I knew that Travis Kelce, I knew he got a lot of catches because they kept leaving him open. He got all that stuff underneath, that intermediate and underneath stuff. They were like, Travis Kelce, you can have that all day. But for Tyreek Hill, they said, no. Nope. No, sir. DeMarcus Robinson, nope. Sammy Watt, nope. McCole Hart, nope. You are not getting those today. Not on us. No, sorry, Bob. We're not going to take it. They didn't take it. So, shout out to the Bucks defense. Shaq Barrett, I ain't even realized that he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. I was on Instagram just going through all these different Buccaneers accounts and stuff, seeing how they celebrate. Because I'm like, man, look at them. Look at these boys celebrating that Super Bowl, man. Check them out. And I was like, man, wish that was my team. But it's all good. It's all good. Because I just wanted to see what they were doing, and it looked like they showed all these dudes dancing around the locker room, and then one guy showed Tom Brady just cleaning up his stuff. He was just there, like, okay, yeah, I got another one. Oh yeah, this is cool. Okay, yeah, that's all right. That's fine. Yeah, okay, it is what it is. Oh yeah, it's a 7th one. Okay, cool. But I'm sure it's a good time, and it's cool to cause I don't know them personally, but I know one of my guys who he does a lot of media stuff and film stuff with NC NCU. Is it NCU? I want to say it's NCU. That college. Let me see for sure right now, man. Let me see. NCCU. NCCU. My fault. But he does a lot of film stuff for them. And I know 2 of the Patriots players, they went to NCCU. I mean, I keep saying Patriots, Bucks. I mean, pretty much same team. But 2 of the Bucks players, they went to NCCU. So he knows them, and that was just really cool to see somebody, like, to know somebody who knows somebody in the Super Bowl. But that was cool. I was happy for him and his friends. Like, it's like, oh yeah, you know some people that's on the Super Bowl team, winning team. I mean, shout out to them for even making it to the NFL, period. Because that's obviously hard enough. But for them to be on the Super Bowl team, and not only the Super Bowl, but a Super Bowl winning team, that's great. So shout out to all of them. And again, another reminder that it is just a small world. It's a small world. So that, yeah, I enjoyed it though, man. I enjoyed it. There were, of course, you know how the calls go. There were, of course, some really bad ones in there. In that first half, it was like, whoa, come on. Like, at least try to hide it a little bit. Come on now. At least try to hide it. But it's okay. It is what it is. So now that's it. Season's over. And everybody's in off-season mode now. Again, except Bucks fans. Except them. Bucks fans are in celebration. Chiefs fans are grieving. But the rest of us, we already been in off-season mode. So, yeah. So it's draft time. I do still want to take a look at some draft prospects. And we'll get to that when we can. I mean, we kind of got to hurry up because the draft is right around the corner. We still got plenty of questions from subscribers. One of my guys, where'd he go? I just saw his comment come across my phone. Oh, there it is. He said, why don't you just take questions from the YouTube comment section? I said, because he must have been watching the part of question from subscribers where I talked about how people, they be sending their questions to the wrong email, and I'd be like, oh, well, your loss, not mine. Because I be telling people, I tell people to email every question from subscriber. I always tell them to email. If they send it to the wrong email, hey, that's on them. I'll read the question personally, but it ain't gonna be part of the video. Because it's just too many emails to be having to go back and forth between different emails and getting But one of my guys asked me, he said, why don't you just take questions from the YouTube comment section? And I said, I can't do that because it would just be too much and it would be very disorganized. Because that's how it was before. It's just crazy. If we took it from the comment, it would be crazy. Like how it used to be crazy before. But anyway, we don't really have a special comment of the day where somebody says something that was just super negative. We don't have. I'm trying to think. Nah, I don't think we got anything. Only thing I could think of off the top of my head was in a Patrick Peterson video that we did. Actually, a question from subscriber video. Should the Ravens pursue Patrick Peterson? And one of my guys said a resounding no. LOL. Okay, then some people replied to his comment. Then one guy was like, yeah, no, of course not. Why would he make a video on this anyway? So I replied to that comment and I said, well, one, because I can. And another thing is because it's called questions from subscribers. But you must have missed that part. So I had to be a little bit petty with it. But that was nothing, though. That was nothing. It's all in fun. Because I see that's one thing when there are people I hardly see that comment anymore. I see it maybe like once a month, maybe actually like once every 2 months. I haven't seen it in a long time where people will say well, why would you make a video on this? You didn't have to make a video on this. Or what'd you make a video on this for? And it's like, if you really felt that way, then why did you click on the video when you saw the title of it, and then you clicked on the part that said comment, and then you typed your comment, and then you pressed the comment button so you could put the comment that you used that extra energy to type for a video that you felt shouldn't have even been made in the first place? It takes it takes so much more work to be negative than it does to be positive. Unless you're dealing with somebody that's really annoying. but but besides that, generally it takes a lot more work to be negative than it does to be positive. It's tough. Like, and I know that old saying, it used to be so cheesy, but when you think about it, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. That's actually true. When they say it takes more muscles in your face to frown than it does to smile, I was like, huh. And it takes more energy and effort to frown than it does to smile, and that can be the case. And then there's also the thing where people can hear, like, through the phone. Like right now, if I'm trying to make up my face angry and talk at the same time, or right now I'm smiling and talking at the same time, a lot of times you can hear the difference when people are smiling through audio, whether it be the phone or it's podcasts like this. Oh, excuse me. You can hear the difference when people are smiling versus when people are frowning or angry or upset, or y'all, you get what I mean. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But y'all just keep being positive. Try to stay happy. It can be tough. And again, people can be annoying, but just keep going. I'm recording this on Tuesday. It's Tuesday, February 9th, but this week so far, Carter School, it has been great. Last week, Carter School, it has been great. It's like with Carter, man, he's on a roll right now, school-wise. Like, there were never any issues with him understanding things that he was going over in school. But what I've been doing is taking some extra time, just spending with him, going over more like slightly advanced things, stuff that they're not going over in school yet, especially when it comes to reading. Just been going over different words, different combinations of letters and stuff, just so he can start becoming familiar with it. And like the EIGH, which again, English is the most complicated language in the world because it does not make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Because when you write the letter combination EIGH, it usually says A. The words wait, ate, freight. But then I had Carter, I said, here, I put an H in front of EIGHT. And he said hate. And I was like, well, you're right based off of everything that we've learned, but that word is height. The English language does not make any sense. You take the letters CH. The letter CH. What sound does that make? Some people will say ch. Some people say k. It all depends on the word. You got a word like chaos. Chaos, that CH makes the K sound. K. But a word like children, that CH makes the ch sound. English language, it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Like, at all. And I know y'all, there's 50 million words out there that we could go over to where it just doesn't make sense. And that's what makes it so hard when you're teaching a 5-year-old this stuff. Because it's like you could be teaching them this pattern of letter combinations and whatnot, and he's like, okay, I'm getting it, I understand it. But then they see they see that same word or that same letter combination in a different word, and they get it wrong because that different word just it's an anomaly. Because like what was the word that we that's what it was. It was E-A-R. E-A-R. That's ear, right? It is. So we were going over. I wrote a sentence out, and Carter got to that word. Oh, but the in the sentence, like if you write H-E-A-R, hear, like hear somebody, you listening to somebody. But if you write T-E-A-R, it's tear. So it's like, what? What are we supposed to do with that? Like, what are we supposed to do with that? But no, I had wrote the word H-E-A-R-D. And when Carter was reading the sentence, he got to that word and he said, heard. Heard. And I'm like, well, that's right. Because that's exactly how it's spelled. It's spelled heard. H-E-A-R-D. But the word is heard. So it's so many. That's what's the. It's not even frustrating. Well, it can be a little bit, but I don't get frustrated at him for that because it doesn't show that there's anything wrong with him, but it just show it can be so confusing for people. It can be so confusing for children. They're learning this English language that has so many different just combinations and all these different codes and stuff, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy because just so much of it does not make sense. And it's almost like the English language continues to contradict itself on so many things. So, and it's so many different things that we could, that we could go over. My wife, she be telling me, she said, you should have been an English teacher. My mom used to always tell me I should have been a lawyer. But I think when they would tell me those things, it was because of like bad characteristics. Cause my wife, she would say you should have been an English teacher. When I would be like being slick with somebody, like correcting them on something that either they spelled wrong, or they said wrong, or if they used the wrong word or something like that. Like that's me. I'm that person. If you spell something wrong, like even if we in a group chat and you spell something wrong, that's me. Don't be in there with me, cause I'm gonna call you out, man. I'm gonna call you out and be like, well, let's fix that. Or if you use something the wrong way, yeah, you will be very annoyed by me. But with I think with my mom, she said I used to be a lawyer, but I think maybe because maybe the way that I would argue, and maybe when I might be like technical with some stuff. Maybe that would be it. That I might be looking for like little technicalities and stuff that she would tell me to do, or stuff that she would say to me. And you know somebody who I also noticed that in, and I'd be like, oh, you is Carter. Carter be doing that all day, man. All day. and it's so frustrating, but at the same time be like, oh man, hold up. I think that's me. That's me right there. So I do get mad, but so a lot of times I don't even say nothing to him about it. I'm like, oh boy, yep, that's my son. So Carter, but yeah, he's been doing a really good job. There've been some times when it comes to listening, sometimes it can be up and down sometimes. But it's not even weird. 'Cause I'm about to say it's weird because he's not a bad kid at all. He's not bad. He's not this mischievous kid, anything like that. But I do have to tell him, like, the biggest thing you get in trouble for is not listening. But it's like, it's weird because with Carter, he will keep all of that stuff in house. Whenever he doesn't listen, he will only not listen in house. If we out and about, he'll be pretty good listening there. If he's dealing with anybody else, he'll be pretty good listening. But for the times when he doesn't listen, he'll keep it all in house. So I ain't worried about Carter. I know Carter ain't gonna be no like bad kid, anything like that. I know he's gonna be fine. Especially since he has, like Carter has, he has. How do you explain it? Because he has a lot of freedom, but he has a lot of freedom because he does a good job with structured stuff. So I and my wife, we give him a lot of freedom. Like right now, he's in. Or I was about to say he's in his room, but he's in our room. He's in me and my wife's room, even though he be in there all the time. He's in there watching TV, eating his lunch right now. His school goes from 8 to 12, Monday through Friday. 8 to 12. So, excuse me. Once he's done with school, he can relax. He can relax. He can play the game. He can watch TV, whatever. If I'm going on errands and he usually go with me, cause that's my homie, man. Carter always be rolling with me. But he's good, man. Like I said, he has a lot of freedom, and sometimes I look at other kids. Not that there's anything wrong with how other people raise their kids, because everybody raises them differently. But sometimes I look around and I'll be like, oh man, like Carter can do this, he can do that, he can do that, he can eat this, he can eat that. He does not have he can eat whatever he wants. It's not one of those things of, oh, no sugar after 7. There ain't anything like that. He has a lot of freedom, man. But again, he does a really good job, man. He does a really good job. So we are very, very we're very proud of Carter, man. Very proud of him. Just happy to see. I think I was telling my guy Josh this before he had his daughter. I was telling him this about Carter. It's so nice when you're teaching your kids something and they get it. When they understand, when it clicks. Oh, that's one of the best feelings as a parent, I think. Because it's like, yeah, there we go. He got it. That's what I was talking about this whole time. It's the best, man. When they really, really get it. And then they remember it. Sometimes they may even repeat something back to you. It's like, yeah, that's what I've been saying. So it's the greatest, man. But I love when he gets stuff. But yeah, back to him with school and stuff. He's been doing just a really, really good job with things, man. And we are very, very proud of him. And how he's been with everything, man. Cause it's great. And again, I'm glad the situation is what it is. I obviously don't, with the pandemic, no, I don't like that. But you gotta make the best of things. You gotta make the most of stuff now. So I'm glad. I love Carter being here for school. I love it. Love him being here for school. Even if stuff was regular, I would still love him being here for school. We'll see what happens with that when that time comes. But I love him being here because I know exactly what he's learning. I know how he learns it, because that's a big thing too, because not all kids learn stuff the same way. They don't. And that's what makes it tough in the school system, because in the school system, they teach stuff a certain way. They got a curriculum that they got to follow. So they teach stuff a certain way. But you don't have 20 kids that all learn the same with the same style. So that's what makes it so tough on not only the kids but the teachers too. Because you may be teaching stuff and things may be flowing. A good percentage of your kids may be getting it. It's like, oh yeah, let's go. They getting it. But then you got like 4 or 5 that, wait a minute, they don't understand what's going on. Am I teaching something the wrong way? No, you're not. But that style that you're teaching it, that's not best for them when it comes to learning. So that's that, man. Oh man, teachers, oof, I give it up to them. Give it up to them. Give it up to teachers, because they go through it. And I know we've talked about this a lot on here, but I think really I think especially this school year more than any, because Carter's been in schools before. Well, he's just been in like VPK before. Yeah, because this is his first like school, because he's in, I think what he in elementary school right now. Yeah, kindergarten is elementary school, but so he's been in VPK before, but this year really gave me an appreciation for teachers so much more and what they have to do, because it is hard, man. They got such a tough job. They got such a tough job for what they do. It's not easy, and then especially because before with Carter with his class, in the class that he was in before, and he loved his teacher. I didn't realize how much he loved his teacher until he had to change classes. But in the class that he was in before, the teacher had some kids that were actually at the school and some kids that were online, so she had to do both. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. So that gave me a newfound appreciation for teachers, especially this year, because of the circumstances and the situation. But then on top of that, then when he got switched to a different class, a different teacher, he, with the new teacher, all her kids are online. So it's like, that's another challenge too, because you got to teach all these kids, and they all on a computer. And it's like 27 students and all online. So how do you even give students attention when it's coming from a computer? And what's tough is that obviously parents still gotta work. They still gotta work. So with them still having to work, they can't really be. Not all parents can be sitting right there with the kids and stuff while they going through the schooling and whatnot. So then the student, they may not be really paying attention like that. They may be like, oh, whatever. Cause it's just tough for them, and then so they're not learning as much as they would have normally learned, because they just don't have that assistance like that, and it's just so many different like factors that play into the whole thing, and that's why I have such a respect for, or always had a respect for teachers, but I just appreciate them so much more after this year. Or after just seeing what they have to do, because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. And then, like, you as a teacher, like, I know if I was a teacher, I definitely would. But you feel that connection to the students, and you really want them to do good, man. You really do, because it's crazy, because they're like borderline your family. They become, you get so close to these students, and you really want the best for them, and you want them to do well, you want them to succeed and all that. So it's tough, man. It's tough for these teachers, because if they have a student that's not really getting it, then they feel that, because the teachers, even though they're limited on what they can do, I'm sure they probably look at it like it's a direct reflection on them. Like maybe they did something wrong. But then at the same time, it's like they're probably struggling, because that personal connection that you would have normally had with a student, you can't have that because it's all online. It's all online. So with it being all online, you're limited on how much you can really do for the student. Even if you do one-on-ones with the student and whatnot, even if you do like one-on-one sessions with the student, even if you did that, it's like, man, you can only do so much, because like you can't, if you trying to read a book with them, you got to put the book on the camera, and they might not be paying attention, they might get distracted or something. Like it's tough, man. So it's just teachers. It's a lot, and if any of y'all know teachers, Any teachers, please get him a big hug. Please do, because that is a job right there. That is a tough job, especially given the circumstances that we in right now. Whew, that's a tough job. So, anyway, just before we get out of here, I was what was I doing? I was watching I Am Athlete. Y'all know I talk about this show all the time because I love it. I love it. And they like right down the street too, since they in Weston. But the I Am Athlete is a podcast with Fred Taylor, with Brandon Marshall, with Channing Crowder. And it's cool to see players that you watched as a fan. You watching these guys just talk about the game of football, but it's much more than about football. They just talk about life. They talk about experiences. They talk about money. They talk about business. They talk about so much stuff. But they just had I want to say Jake Paul on there, because I always get them two brothers confused, because I don't care about them, but I don't watch them. I don't keep up with them. I know who they are, but with the Jake Paul, Logan Paul, all of them. But they had Jake Paul on the other day, and he was talking about They were asking him about boxing and YouTube, and like which one is harder. And he said YouTube is harder. And I know that initially, like, if I had never done it before, I would think, what is this dude talking about? What is he talking about? How would YouTube be harder than boxing? Like, what? What kind of sense does that? All you got to do is get in front of the camera and just do a vid. What? That don't make no sense. Like, but anyway, then he explained it, which, I mean, I ain't need him to explain, because I was like, oh, I understand exactly where you coming from. But he talked about the mental part. Because he talked about how sometimes you just don't feel like doing no video. You don't feel like recording. He talked about the commitment. He talked about how he had made a video every single day for over 800 days in a row. And what is that? It's 365 days in a year. So that's like, what, 2.5 years, I think. And I'm thinking, when he was saying that, when I was doing the math, I'm like, hey, we've been doing that same thing. I don't know when our daily upload thing started, but I was like, hey, we've been doing that same exact thing too, man. But anyway, he talked about the mental part. And I was like, that's true. That's true. Because the mental part is very important, that you obviously take care of your mental state of mind and whatnot. But YouTube, if you're not mentally strong, then it's no good, man. It'll destroy you. And if you're not mentally smart too, because things can be, and that's really with anything. You gotta have balance. You got to have that balance, and that's really in anything that you do. But you could you obviously gotta grind and whatnot, but you could be grinding so much, and not taking care of your mentals, not taking your breaks, not enjoying like just moments in life. You could spend so much time just work that it just drains you mentally, and you never want that really for anything. You don't want that for anything. That's what I always say to people, hey, whatever you do, take your breaks. Whatever you do, take your little breathers and whatnot. Just chill. Well, you still gotta work, obviously, but you gotta find your time to chill. Find your time to relax. Find your time to just take that deep breath. And just really appreciate, man. Just really appreciate just life. Really appreciate life. Cause you just sometimes we can all get so just caught up in the day to day, and we don't take that step back to just really reflect on everything. Like, wow, thank you for this. Wow. I am so grateful for that. Wow. I'm happy that things are going the way that they going in this aspect of my life. No, things aren't perfect in my life, but hey, they aren't in anybody's. Everybody got their own struggles, but hey, I'm dealing with minds like this, and yeah, you can't fix everything like that. We all wish that we could, but we can't. So we deal with one thing at a time and just keep going. But that's the biggest thing. As long as we keep going, don't give up. Just keep pushing through, man. Keep pushing through. That's what's most important. Team, keep it clean. Hey, I really love y'all. Again, make sure you come through every Wednesday. That's what we're shooting for now. Every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. I want to make sure I hold myself to that. I do have a lot of ideas, but that is what we starting with every Wednesday. Because I just need to, that consistency from my part, it needs to be a lot better. It needs to be a whole lot better. And it will be. And I appreciate you all being patient through the lack of consistency. Because again, these podcasts been coming out when they come out on whatever day. But I ain't been seeing no complaints. I ain't been seeing none of that. So I really appreciate that from y'all. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Shout out to all the patrons. Thank you very much. I think while we were actually recording, somebody just became a new patron. So shout out to Miss Too Much. I don't know if Miss Too Much listened to the podcast, but thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you all for supporting. Thank you all for listening to these podcasts. Thank you for watching the YouTube videos. Thank you for just supporting with your time, because time is something that we can't get back. But the fact that you are willing to sit down, whether it's on the way to your job, whether you're doing something around the house, whenever you listening to this, however you listening to this, thank you. Thank you for being willing to do that. Because it's not something that you have to do, but the fact that it's something that you choose to do, I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. So team, keep it clean. Thank you. Make sure you tell somebody that you love them today. And on that note, we are out.